Hello, Unlocked community. Welcome to our Tuesday live stream. I am here live every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern to bring you guys all sorts of information about real estate investing. I actually help people buy and manage long-term rentals. The goal is to buy 1 to 3 rental properties per month on autopilot. So if that sounds exciting, I am actually hosting a workshop right after this to help you build your real estate business. So at 3 o'clock Eastern, I'm hosting a workshop. If you guys want to get in on that, just comment workshop here and we will get you added. But today's topic is one that is absolutely near and dear to my heart. We are going to go over the top 10 real estate mistakes that I have made in my career. And not only that, not only the mistakes, but how much did those mistakes cost me? So this is going to be a really funny one. I have checked my ego at the door. You guys, you can laugh with me. You can laugh at me. You can do whatever you want. If these are mistakes that you have made yourself, let me know in the comments. Give me some camaraderie because, there's something you can laugh at now, but at the time was definitely painful to go through. So let's get into it. Top 10 mistakes that I've made in my career and how much they cost me. So we're going to break this down on the cost part. We're going to break it down in a couple different categories. So first is a financial mistake, right? That's going to be the most obvious, the easiest to calculate. And for the sake of this example, I'm just going to use $50 an hour as my time. My time is worth more than that, but I want to be super modest. And you know what? When I was making these mistakes, my time wasn't probably worth what it is today. So we're using $50 an hour to calculate these mistakes. That's financial. We're also going to talk about emotional mistakes, right? These aren't only financial. They have ripple effects into your life, into your health, stress on your family, maybe your eating is bad, your sleep is bad. So we're going to measure any emotional mistakes in sleepless nights. Okay. And then last but not least, we have our opportunity cost. So what did I lose out on because I made this mistake? Now, of course, these are going to be the hardest to measure. Who knows what would have happened? Kind of knowing what I know now in my career, I can make some predictions, but that's going to be kind of the hardest one to measure. So remember, we have financial, emotional, and opportunity cost. And then these top 10 mistakes are actually in no particular order. So I'm just going to get started. Let me see all who's here. Awesome. We got a lot of folks here, y'all. Let me know in the comments as we go through if you have made any of these mistakes yourself and kind of what the outcome was. Would definitely love to hear that I'm not the only one. Mistake number 1, and I am coming out of the gate hot with this one, okay? So this is not properly screening applicants. Now, if you've been around, you may have heard this story before. We had someone apply at a property in Franklinton, and they submitted some records of their pay statements. And I look back at this now and I'm like, Jesse, how could you ever have accepted this? Her pay statements were just torn out from a receipt book, same handwriting, same pen, same everything, saying that, people were paying her for cleaning services. So hindsight's 2020. Clearly that was not valid income. So I moved this person in. Now I get a call 2-3 weeks later from the house directly next door. And that person, they have the house listed. That investor has the house listed. Their agent calls me and they say, hey, there's like 15 to 20 people coming in and out of your house. And then I'm telling you, it took me a day or two to get down there. I called her, of course, couldn't get a hold of her. Didn't seem like a huge cause for concern. I get down there a day or two later. All of the windows upstairs in this property had been shot out by the SWAT team. So the SWAT team shoots beanbags when they're trying to break in, get people out of a house. So SWAT team shot out the windows because I did not screen this girl. And I moved in 10 to 15 people into this property. Now, I lost quite a bit of sleepless nights. I'm giving this one 45 sleepless nights, but actually 0 financial loss. And the reason is because I had the right insurance policy and it was considered vandalism. So all said and done, actually no money out of pocket, but a super stressful situation. And you absolutely better believe that I never, ever moved in a tenant without doing a full screening ever again. That was a silly one. Mistake number 2 is buying with 20% down. So this was before I understood the BRRRR method, the power of the BRRRR method. Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. The idea is that you get your initial investment paid back, including your down payment. So all of your money out of pocket is, you have no money out of pocket, right? I did not know this method existed for the first 3 or 4 houses I bought down in Austin. And then the first, 7, 8, 9 more properties here in Columbus. I bought my first 11 doors kind of the wrong way before I understood the BRRRR method, January 2021. So my speed of purchasing, putting 20% down on every single deal, I'm going to say is 10 times slower than it is using the BRRRR method. 10 times slower. And so I'm going to be super conservative on a lot of these estimates. Let's just say that I missed out on 5 deals. I know it was far, far, far more. And let's just say that each of those deals was worth $25,000. Long-term buy and hold, they're going to be worth way more than that, but let's be modest. So that's $125,000 in opportunity costs because I did not understand the power of the BRRRR method and I was buying with 20% down. Who's done that one? Oh, here's Cindy. Hi, nice to see you, Cindy. Who has bought with 20% down, not knowing the power of the BRRRR method? I did it. So I'm counting myself out 125 on that one. Mistake number 3, underestimating tax benefits. So the tax benefits of owning real estate long-term are insane. You get your depreciation, right? It's like the amount that you can write off every year on what the house is worth. You have write-offs on taxes. You have write-offs on insurance. You can write off all of your costs. But the one I'm really going to focus in on here is the cost segregation study. So basically, you can take it started at 100% a few years back. It's now down to, I believe, 60% of your depreciation. You can take it in a single year versus spacing it out over 27 and a half years. So just on my taxes alone, had I understood the power of a cost segregation study or tax benefits in general, I'm going to say that my last 4 years filing taxes, when I didn't do a cost seg study, I could have saved $20,000 a year in taxes. So we're going to give this mistake, underestimating tax benefits, an $80,000 cost related to it. Whew. Who else is here? Oh, we got a lot of me's. Yes, that's why I'm here learning from you. James, if I can stop you guys from making these mistakes, learn from me so you don't have to do them yourself. That is the whole point here. Yes, 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 yes. Love that. Okay, mistake number 4, not knowing my best exit strategy. I did not know what a refinance was. And this was a very early property I bought. It was actually, if you know my story, it was my crappy little condo that I bought in Austin, Texas for $92,000. I bought it in 2013, $92K. I sold it in 2016 for $200,000. Now, in my mind, I'm like, heck yes, crazy profits. Like, I love real estate. This is great. Well, it was great. And I'm not upset I did it in hindsight. But what I wish I would have known, the purpose of me selling was because I was traveling the world for a year. I met my gorgeous wife. 2016, we lived in 12 countries for 1 month each. And frankly, I was running out of money. So what I really wanted out of this house was the money. But I thought you had to sell it. So went to my real estate agent, said, I need to sell this house. And, I wish he would have said, Jesse, you can just refinance it and hit your same objectives. So I literally did not know what a refinance was. So I sold a property that I looked it up on Zillow earlier today, $335,000. So I left another, we're saying 335 plus rent. I left another 150 on the table, $150,000 on the table because I did not know that you could refinance. I did not know all of my choices on my exit strategy. Mistake number 5 is keeping poor records. Okay. I have done this in many capacities, but I'm going to break it down on just a single example of when keeping poor records actually cost me quite a bit of money. So if you are thinking about like a lender relationship, they're going to need all sorts of information from you. If you are looking at a refinance versus a purchase, so a refinance lender is going to need, appraisals done. They're going to need a record of what renovations you put into the property, what you purchased it for, what the lease is. They're going to need all of these different records to get this loan closed. And at this time of the mistake, I was doing blanket loans, meaning I was packaging multiple properties under a single loan. So I think we had 4, 5, 6 in this one, maybe that's like usually the ballpark. And so they were needing a laundry list of records. And what I did, and what is very human nature, is when someone needs a lot from you, it's real easy to just forget about that email. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow. Things get postponed because it's just daunting. It's overwhelming, right? So closing that should have taken maybe 2 months, ended up taking me like 5 months. And so 3 months, I'm just paying my holding costs. So we're going to say that, $15K on this single mistake of holding costs because I couldn't get my paperwork together. I kept poor records. Imagine how many times we've all done that in our career. So I'm giving keeping poor records a $30,000 towards this mistake. Lizzie says, dang, yeah, definitely. There were some silly ones there. So that was number 5. Mistake number 6 is doing in-person showings. If you have a rental portfolio and you are still doing in-person showings yourself, you are spending so much unnecessary time. So in my career, before I understood the power of a self-showing, which is what we do now, I was going out to these appointments. And so I'm not exaggerating that I've probably done 100 plus in-person showings before we switched to the self-showing method. Now, even if those were 1 hour each with drive time, waiting for them to show up, all of this, even if they were 1 hour, that is $5,000 of my time that I absolutely did not need to spend doing in-person showings. So if you're still doing in person, I would love to talk to you about the self-showing method. It's changed everything. We've been doing this for 2-3 years now. Never had an issue. Okay. Mistake number 7, and this is a little bit of a heartfelt one, is thinking that I could do it all myself. I had to humble myself at a certain point and recognize that I cannot do it all myself. We think that we can, and we're making, mistakes. You've seen all these. I'm taking shortcuts. It's leading to money out of my pocket. So it took me literally years to wrap my head around the idea of hiring someone on the rental side or on the education side. So if you have seen our live stream, you've seen Cassie, you've heard me talk about Cassie. She is my right-hand girl on the rental side. Absolutely could not do my job without her. And it took me years to figure out that I needed help. Now, the things Cassie has done since being, in the company are things that I never could have even imagined. She is so much more on top of the details. She's on top of all this. And I would be absolutely floundering if it weren't for her. Same on the education side. Lizzie sets up all this stuff behind the scenes. All the emails you guys get, that's from her. And so you wouldn't hear from me at all if it was all up to me, right? So thinking I could do it all alone, like once I learned the power of hiring, it has changed every part of my life. So this one's super hard to quantify because there's just so many different things that could have been different hiring sooner, but super modest. I'm going to give this one a $40,000, just mistakes that I made thinking I could do it myself or just thinking that I had enough time. $40,000. Mistake number 8. This one was probably on this list. My most recent mistake is hiring a friend. I hired a friend, and not just a friend. If you have heard my story back in Austin, I had some Craigslist roommates. So this was actually one of my Craigslist roommates that we became friends. He lived in the house. He was a roofing contractor. So I moved to Columbus, have some rent, it's still in Austin, have some renters in place, and we're ready for a turnover. So I hire my friend. 6 months of really not a lot of work getting done. A lot of stories, a lot of, back and forth on all this stuff. Took 6 months of vacancies and a mortgage payment for me to kind of end the relationship, move on, get someone else hired. But that was $12,000 out of pocket. Not to mention, this is something that I tell my students do not do. And it's because I have learned from experience is do not overpay a contractor for work that has not been done yet. So because we were friends, because I thought we had a good relationship, I actually overpaid by $10,000. So not only am I out the $12K, also out $10K because of course, once the relationship ended, that money was long gone. So mistake number 8, do not hire a friend. Just don't do it. Hire the professionals. I'm getting some questions. So will the video be recorded? Yes, absolutely. These are all recorded. Laura says, ouch. I don't know if she actually knew. This is my wife. I don't know if she actually knew how bad that one was. Yeah. Don't hire your friends. All right. So back to it. Mistake number 9 is letting a resident get too far behind on rent. Now you ask, Jesse, why do you let a resident get behind on rent at all? And the answer is you don't. Okay, you don't. But there are some extenuating circumstances in people's lives where you as the housing provider, you can decide if you are willing to let someone take rental assistance. So rental assistance, basically there's private agencies, government agencies that have pools of money that are designed to help, renters stay in their housing if they come up on a hardship. So there's one case in particular for us that the girl, she was getting rental assistance and we just let it drag out just far too long. So she ended up getting denied, and there's 15 different programs we work with. She got denied across every single program. So there was, and I've never seen this happen before, but there was no money out there. And she, at this point, was 3 months behind on rent. So we ended the relationship. And you think if she couldn't pay rent now, she's going to pay you rent later? Of course not. So we are out 3 months of rent. On this one, it was $3,000. In addition to 30 sleepless nights. That last 30 days, I was really stressed there about what was going to happen. So not a ton of like financial loss necessarily, but definitely a lot of emotional and kind of heartache over what we were going to do to help this girl. And it ended up just not working. So if you want to let someone use rental assistance, that's fine, but do not let them get 3 months behind on rent. So we learned that one the hard way. And then last but not least, you guys, mistake number 10. This is also a doozy. This is a big one. This is the only deal that I have ever actually lost money on. So mistake number 10 is not reading the HUD closing statement carefully enough. I was doing direct seller marketing. I had a property under contract. We were closing it with the owner in place. So this is called an escrow holdback. Typically, if the seller needs the money from the sale in order to move, we can give them 2 weeks, and we do what's called the escrow holdback. So I pay the full closing amount to title. Title will hold back $5,000 in accordance with the contract that I signed with the sellers, right? So they agree, I'll give you 2 weeks in the house. We're holding back 5K. As soon as you move out, we'll release the 5K and it's kind of like 2 paydays. So we close on the property and they receive the proceeds. 2 weeks come by and they're like, hey, mind you, they received $63,000 in proceeds. Okay. So 2 weeks come along and they're like, hey, where's our $5,000? We need it so we can move out. I'm like, cool. Let me talk to title. Here's the mistake. I did not read the HUD carefully enough. The full proceeds had already been released. There was no $5,000 escrow holdback. There was no holdback. So normal, sane people, I would explain to them, hey, so sorry. Actually, you did get the whole proceeds, but no, did not work this way. They said, well, we don't have any money. We were told we were going to get $5,000 and we need that to move. And I'm like, well, what did you do with the $63,000 that you just got? Long story short, took 6 months to get these people out. They literally said, I thought I was getting $5,000. Now you're saying I'm not. We're not moving. It took us 6 months to get them out, all the way down to a set out with their possessions sitting on the front lawn, all because I did not read the HUD statement carefully enough. Now, title did actually help compensate for that one. So it turned out mostly okay. But like I said, the only deal to this day that I've lost money on, we lost about $10,000 even with title's help. And I had really 2 months of pretty sleepless nights there on how could I have missed this and how can I get these people out? So 10 mistakes, you guys, let's recap them real quick. From the top, not screening tenants properly, buying with 20% down, underestimating tax benefits, not knowing my best exit strategy, keeping poor records, doing in-person showings, thinking I could do it all alone, and I definitely cannot, hiring a friend, letting a resident get too far behind on rent, and not reading the HUD carefully enough. So if we think back to the financial, emotional, and opportunity costs, if we add all of these mistakes up over the past couple years, I am at $440,000. That is $500,000 in mistakes. These are rudimentary calculations. And I was super conservative. So I actually don't even want to know the real amount. And then the sleepless nights, we're at 135 nights, which is 4.5 months. 4.5 months that I didn't sleep because of the silly little things that were so preventable. Whew. Yeah. So we got some oh dang, some geez, some oops. Yes. Rose is asking, can I go over the refi part of the BRRRR method if you have time? I cannot in this video, but I'm hosting a workshop directly after this at 3:00 Eastern where I definitely can. So if you want to know, I'm happy to share all this with you. So if you want in on that workshop, just comment workshop, anyone, and Lizzie will send you a link. And then what else do we got? Some ouches. Yes. Okay, cool. Megan says lack of sleep can cause dementia. I think that's what's happening. That must be my problem. That's a good one. So let's kind of recap this thing, y'all. So as you can see, my journey wasn't really that much of a walk in the park, stumbles, wrong turns, and I made my fair share of mistakes. Altogether, we're saying, about near $500,000 in financial mistakes and almost half a freaking year I've lost sleep. So here's the thing. You do not have to pay with these same mistakes. You can take the shortcut. Don't do this the long way like I did, right? I've been there. I've done that. I got the t-shirt. But I want to help you skip all the drama and jump straight into success. So like I said, we have our Rentals Made Easy Mastermind. This is the exact method that I teach our students. We have a couple hundred students in the community now. Super tight knit. I am going to break down the exact method that I use and that I teach in our workshop directly after this. Lizzie did post the link, which is amazing. So would love, love, love to see you all there. And yeah, thanks for hanging on and laughing with me through this. So I hope to see you guys, and I will see you next week.